I mean, everybody understands how the streets is, how the street moves, and how you travel out of town, for certain events or if you hustling or you transporting, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, these for the people that don't, are not really in the streets. So now, September 7th, 1996, Mike Tyson is fighting Sheldon at the MGM Grand. So you got Mike Tyson in his camp, you got Sheldon in his camp, you got Tupac and they whole camp, and you got my father. And at the time, if my memory serves me right, he was down there with Foxy Brown and I think Foxy's brother or whatever at the time, right? And then you got Keefe D and his crew, the Southside Crips, right? So at the fight, Mike Tyson knocks out Sheldon in the first round. I think he knocked him out in like a minute, right? After that, they're leaving. Mind you, Tupac and all of them is, front row stage and all that. They go through the tunnel with Mike Tyson, as well as my father and them, because my father and Mike Tyson is like brothers. That's like my aunt, right? Mike Tyson. So they all leave together through the tunnel. They go their all separate ways. Now, somebody goes to Tupac and says, Baby Lane, we spotted Baby Lane from the Southside Crips. And, he's the one that took the chain, the death row chain. Supposedly Tupac runs off and attacks, and they all attack Baby Lane, right? Now after they attack Baby Lane, Keefe D says, they say, we want to do something, we want to kill him next. We want to kill Baby Lane, right? So I guess they say, well, we need a gun. I guess Keefe D says, okay, we go to, I seen Zip probably got a gun, we're going to go get it from Zip. And supposedly Zip gave Keefe D the gun, right? This is his Keefe D's story, right? And now they say they did what they did. Okay, now let's back up now, right? That's his version. But here's a street version, this logically, right? Keefe D and all them Southside Crips and all of they gangsters, right? They from LA. They going to Nevada, Las Vegas, which is 360 miles away, right? My father's from New York. Yes, he is in LA a lot. So you're saying my father drove all the way from New York to Las Vegas with a firearm in his car. Makes no sense. Who does that? If you not, most people, if they hustling, they got work in the car, they don't even do that. When they get where they land and somebody says, yo, they trust, or they got a chick or apartment or something, they go stop there and get, nobody does that. Nobody gonna drive 3,000 miles with a ham in the car, especially when you're somebody, right? He didn't take the plane, so right there, that's one situation, right? But say he came from LA and he drove back down to Nevada, the 360 miles, right? Okay. Still, that's a lot to be driving with a firearm in the car, but just say, hypothetically speaking, he did that, right? And he did have a gun. But these dudes did the same trip. These are supposed to be these is gangsters. How is the gangsters, logically, we're not, because these is real gangsters. These is not wanksters, bro. These is people that supposedly killed Tupac. These cats supposed to kill other people. So they really about their life. So if you really about their life, you going to another territory. Wouldn't you have a firearm? Or wouldn't you should be able to get one? Nevada is down the block basically. That you can't, if my father had the gun in the car, you ain't had a gun in the car, makes no sense. And anybody that's really in the streets, if you really think about it and stop listening to all this other suckiness, you understand that don't make no sense. And furthermore, my father was cool with Pop. My father was cool with Suge. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the beef that was going on with the East Coast, West Coast, my father had a lot to do with stopping the East Coast and West Coast. You know what I'm saying? The beef. So, and then, Tyson and Pac was cool. Tyson and my father was cool. They like best of friends, like really like brothers. It's not like something that when the funeral came, you know, the only one that came to the burial was Tyson. Me and my brother was right next to. He threw the dirt over my father's casket. You know, yeah, a lot of people came to the wake, but Tyson came to the burial. He wanted to see and make sure that his brother was buried the way he's supposed to be. He wanted to see that. And he came. He stopped whatever he did, and he came for that. You know, so you talking about a guy that knows, you know, Pac, very cool Pac. My father that knows Pac and never had no bad dealings with Pac is going to be like, yo, hey, take the gun and kill this nigga because he done beat your nephew up. You know, and then they would say, oh, well, what about the $1 million? Nigga, my father had money. Back in 96, $1 million was just going to make him or break him. You know what I'm saying? And if Puff said what he said, which I know he didn't, but if Puff said what Puff ain't stupid enough to say no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? For one, you got to think about it, right? Puff says, okay, y'all want to get these niggas killed. Zip, tell them niggas out there to kill them niggas. And I'm going to give them $1 million. Think about this. That shit, if that happened, that was done along with, listen, the average person in the street that's even getting any money ain't never been offered $1 million to kill somebody. Even if you hood rich or real rich or just upper class hood rich, you know what I'm saying? You know, the guy that just got $2.17, he ain't on the block every day, get a kid's money, but he ain't got no real money. Anybody offered $1 million to kill somebody, especially back in 96, so money is different back then. Would have been did that. What did we taking months and years? Pac wasn't the president. Suge wasn't the president. There ain't no planning for that. There ain't no whole bunch of planning. There's $1 million. I give one of them little chicks that he messing with $200 or something. Tell me where he at. And you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. He made the offer for $1 million, but it took for him to get beat up at the fight for somebody to actually say, okay, yeah. But they supposedly agreed on it months ago. That don't make no sense. Ain't nobody waiting that long. The average Joe right now, all these listeners right now, if somebody came with you for $1 million and you know they could pay the $1 million to kill somebody, you might have just did it. You know what I'm saying? Then, like today, like you mean like right now? $1 million now? Well, shit, where that nigga at? You know what I'm saying? Where he at? We you know what I mean? All that. Yeah, we gonna get him, and you know, and you know what I mean? Come on, that don't even make no sense, you know. But I mean, come on. And then my father telling them that don't make no sense at all, man. My father wants to say, yo, here, listen, Puff said, kill them niggas, give you $1 million, and he's supposed to go. These niggas supposed to kill him, and then turn around, and my pop's supposed to go get $1 million from Puff to get it up. Now he just gonna give him $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Where's my commission at? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, ain't none of that happen, man. And if you think Puff is gonna go to jail for something like that, that ain't gonna happen. You know, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this. Even if it did happen, just like Keefe D said, ain't nobody is allowed to collaborate if that's true or not. Because never ever, as far as my knowledge, has Keefe D ever said that Puff personally said to him, yo, I'm gonna give you $1 million to kill him dudes. I ain't never heard that. I never heard him say that. Now I heard him say, oh, well, Zip said, Puff said X, Y, and Z, but he ain't never said it came out of his mouth, the actual person. So if that is true, which it don't make no sense to be true, but if that is true, the only person that could corroborate that is Zip. And unfortunately, Zip ain't here. And if it's true that he gave him the gun, Zip ain't here to corroborate that either. So, ain't no, and if it was cash, cash is untraceable. I mean, where they gonna trace that? You know what I'm saying? A bag was just thrown up somewhere. You know what I mean? And if it was a check, who gonna write a check saying this is for the hit of such and such and such? Them dudes wasn't into rap. Them dudes wasn't into nothing like that. So what check would Puff write them? Oh, Baby Lane want to rap, never gonna give him Baby Lane. But that ain't never, they ain't never did that, and they never came up, because if it did, they'd been tied him in with some check. And they saying, well, he gave my father the check. Well, then who gave him that? And you got to pay taxes on that. And ain't nobody dumb enough to give, I mean, it don't even make no sense. It don't make no sense. And then the thing about the club, oh, man. So let me just say this right now. And I was going to say that with somebody else, but I'm here, I'm going to say it right now, right? I'm tired of everybody saying that my father took the $1 million and got his club. Anybody that believes that really don't know nothing, really. And there's a lot of people that really don't, because they wasn't in the life, they wasn't around at the time. So let me explain something to you. My father's club, Zip Code, was opened up in 2004. Almost 10 years after Tupac got killed. So how did he take the money, if the money was ever given, to open up the club, when the club was even non-existent at the time? Well, at the time, I think it was called the Palace. Yeah, it was called the Palace. It was a restaurant. This is before Jimmy's got the club.